Can you please start by giving us some general tips
on what to do if we find ourselves in a threatening situation?
So one of the best things is to be preventative. So to not get yourself there, what could we do? And it sounds simple, but be alert, be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes that means knowing where you're going before you head there. I know it's great to be wanderous, but if you kind of know where you're going, look around. In being alert, it's not only looking around, but it's take your earpods out, or at least keep them at a level where you can still hear maybe footsteps, you can hear rustling, but that phone, we can't live without it. Use it, but then get off it so that you can still go back and see your surroundings. Okay, so let's say you get taken away somewhere. How are you going to be transported? If, let's say, you are in a trunk, kick out that back light so you can maybe get your hands out or get your feet out. Think about that. What's going to call attention to you? Let's say you're encountered and somebody comes upon you. What do? Well, you don't want to get on the ground. You want to get away from that person and get out of their hold. And sometimes if the person is bigger than you and overpowering you, well, use their strength as your advantage. So if they're taller than you, drop down a little lower. If they're taller than you or bigger than you, they might not move as fast as you. If somebody comes upon you and they're asking for your keys, your purse, your wallet, best thing to do in that situation is likely to give it to them. But please don't be courteous or polite. Don't hand it over to them. Throw it in the opposite direction that you're going to go. Have on your phone emergency contacts. Be aware of emergency bulletins like law enforcement bulletins or some type of announcements. Be aware of them. That way you might know if there is a predator that's on the loose, or there have been break-ins nearby or suspicious activities. Another thing too is if you're out and about, don't be alone. Walk with a buddy, walk with a friend, or if you're leaving from somewhere, ask someone else to just come with you. Think about where you're at, and if you're on campus, maybe you're going off to college, definitely know your surroundings, be more familiar with them. So if you're a bystander, what can happen? You see somebody putting something in somebody else's drink. There's always that, take that step back. If that were you, what would you do? You know, what would you want somebody to do for you? Would you want somebody to go and say, hey, I wouldn't drink that? Would you want somebody to go and take your glass out of your hand? You might think that's rude and disrespectful, but yet look what they're doing to help you, to save you, to spare you from some mishap. But again, this could spare some very physical, very emotional trauma. That isn't something that might be done with the act, let's call it. This is something that they can carry for a lifetime and have residual effects. A traumatic event might mean that they're very likely less inclined to be intimate, not necessarily in a sexual sense, but it could be, but just even in a touched sense, like a hug. Really influence somebody beyond that. And if you could just do something, maybe you don't want to call the local authorities or an adult nearby, going and saying something to a friend of theirs. Hey, don't have this person drink this. Because again, go back to, what if that were you? Would you want to know? What would you want somebody to do? One of the things why it's really important to me is obviously wellness is my life. It's a wellness teacher. And in classes, when we teach, awareness is key. Okay, if you increase awareness, you raise up awareness, you increase education. You're going to increase that knowledge. Hopefully by that, you're also going to increase the prevention and reduce the instance of it happening to yourself, to a friend, a loved one, a bystander. And yes, I do know people that are very close that have been victims. I'm not really aware of anyone personally as a friend, acquaintance that I know that has victimized someone. So it's really, as a teacher, it's really important for me because I can help folks in the education world. But as a human, as a female, we tend to be the ones that are victimized. Although it can happen to males. But it's about empowering each other, that we're not alone in this, be it the victim or the bystander. We can all work together. So I think you and Erin and the rest of your group are doing great things. So thank you so much for letting me take a couple minutes of your time to share a little bit about this. The bottom line is what you're doing with this week is raising awareness. You're providing resources to your peers to help educate them, to spread the word, which really your ultimate goal is to eliminate this.
Thank you for reaching out to me, and thank you for getting involved with this. We really appreciate it.